upcoming projects requires some lighting on the outside of a building. And to do that, I want to create some what would be proper class architectural lighting, some coloured LEDs to light up the building. So I need some brackets, floodlight brackets to hold that. So I'm going to show you how I go about creating stuff for 3D printing. So we'll start off with a new design. So I'm using Tinkercad here, and Tinkercad allows us to work with fairly simple shapes and use those simple shapes to create more complex ones. And there's two types of simple shape. So you've got a box, and then you've got a box which acts as a hollowing out. So if I put just a box there just now, and then I bring in a hole, it calls it, and then I put them together, I get this funny looking thing. Now, to actually make things work, you need to combine shapes, and we do that with these options here. So I can select everything and then do the group, and now you can see the two squares have become one sort of L-shaped shape. And if I've made a mistake, I can ungroup them, and then if I wanted to say move that and have an L shape with a base, move that up and then recombine them, and now you can see the type of shape I've got. Now, what I want to do for my lighting is really quite simple. So my lights, my LEDs are on a little circuit board which is 10mm wide. So there's a couple of ways I can go about doing this. So the first way would be to create a shape to hold it. So I want like a U shape. And I can do that easily with boxes. So with boxes, see that I've got lots of tools appearing depending on which square that I do. So I'm selecting this corner, and it gives me my sizes here. So it's 20mm deep by 20mm wide. I don't want it to be 20mm because that, in scale, 4mm is quite big. So and this is going to be a fairly large light holding thing, but the 10mm is as small as I can get this to practically use the LEDs that I'm using. So going with 12mm, and there we go. We've got an oblong shape which is 20mm deep by 12 by 12, and so I want this to be 1mm in thickness. In reality, actually, I could go 2mm thickness because the circuit board's quite thick. Because it's got a circuit board, then it's got the LED on top. So then what I want to do is I want a hole, and this hole needs to be 10mm by 10mm, and it's going to be by 2mm. And then I can combine those shapes, and that gives me my bracket. That I'm going to put onto the lights, and I need a few of these. So Tinkercad allows me to use copy and paste just like you would in any other program. So you get Control C or that button, and Control V or that button to paste it. So I've got Control C and Control V, and then I need them to be a little bit apart from each other. and then I can turn things around by using that tool there, and then so there we go. So that's now a little simple bracket made up of very simple shapes ready to go to the 3D printer. So what I'll now do is I will change the name. So this will be so we'll save that. And because this is online, every time you finish doing something, it automatically saves. So it's now ready to be exported. And I can export into a file that my printer can take. You can go straight to a 3D printing person online, a company online that'll 3D print for you. Because I've got a 3D printer here, I can go straight to the 3D printer. So that's it downloaded. The other thing with Tinkercad is it doesn't matter what colour things are. That's a project from earlier. So I've already done a different style of floodlight, which goes in two parts for smaller what I'll do is I'll remove that one, and I'll move this into the center. The reason I'm moving it into the center is that the heated bed that I've got is warmer in the center than it is at the edges, so you get better results, especially with thin parts like this. You don't want them to warp, so you want them to stay as warm throughout the whole print and only cool down once it's finished. So this is all set up for my printer, and every printer is different, and every material is different. So the material I'm using just now needs to be printed at 235 degrees Celsius on a bed which is at 65. And I can now go slice, just as I've shown in a previous video, and it says that it's going to be 1 hour and 8 minutes and take up 10 grams or 3.44 meters of filament. So save that, and then I will send that to my printer, and I will show you that printing and then come back once it's done and we'll build up one of the lights. There we go, in just over an hour, I've got the brackets ready to come off. So now these LEDs should just sit nicely in the bracket and can be glued in and angled. So what I'm going to do is I will wire one up. So with these LEDs, it's important that all the connections are known because they're directional. So I've got plus, a minus, and then we've got DN, and then we've got D out. I want to have this angled. So it might be easier these are going to be quite fiddly. So this prototype showing that these are going to be quite tricky to glue together. that's the first one. So I've now connected up the wires as they should be. And here's the finished prototype that's been painted. So it's got an addressable LED so that they can be set to any colour, and it's currently running a test pattern. So these LEDs need 4 wires to run them. 2 for power, one positive, one negative, and a data in and a data out. So they all run in a chain. So the building I want to put this on will have a couple on the front, facing up the way just to give it a light. And I'll be able to control the colour of the light from some software, depending on what I want it to look like and how it wants to look. So I mean it's tiny. As I say, these are centimetre across, and gave it a quick paint with some black paint, and you can see the wire. You know, it's scale size for what you would expect. There's virtually no current going through this because they're all individual, and they'll all go back to a central point where they'll then connect into thicker wires before they go to the controller or the power source. So this is another little project to help me with a building that I'm going to be building in the next couple of weeks. So next time I'll hopefully start doing that building. I need to build these so that I can get the wires to go through. So I'm planning the building planning takes about as much time as actually building, so that I know where all the wires are going to go and what holes I need to make as I'm building it. It is a card kit, so I don't have free reign over putting all the wires I need to go in within the kit.